Hello, hi, I'm Tria Simas, and I thought for this video I'd add some audio over it. And for the sake of fluidity and for the sake of me trying to be a bit more confident, I'm going to try and do all of this in one take. So if I'm breathless, it's because I haven't really spoken to anyone since, for a long time. Because England is in lockdown and, well, we just came out of lockdown. But this was built while we were still in lockdown. And this build was actually based on a house that I saw while I was on a train once. I saw the back of it and it had like this, it was 2 stories, but there was an alcove on the 2nd floor that was kind of like a garden patio area, and I really, really loved it. And that's kind of how this build came to be. I think I started trying to go a bit more rustic, and as all my builds do, it ended up becoming quite modern, which is quite weird because I've actually never really been that into modern builds, but I just find so I don't own all of the DLCs or the expansion packs, so I've downloaded quite a lot of custom content, and most of the custom content on the Sims resource, which is what I use, it's either very modern or very not modern, and it's hard to find anything in between. So I've kind of settled for quite a modern living room here. I think most of what's in here right now is custom content. The walls, the floors, most of the decorations. I think the TV and the fireplace are base game as well. And then the bathroom was a really weird shape to play with, which I found really fun, because it kind of had to incorporate the staircase into it, so I kind of built the sink into that little alcove to try and maximise the space that we had. Not that this is a small build by any means, and I do really struggle with these massive builds, which I always seem to build. I always seem to make them so big for absolutely no reason other than I will just randomly grab a lot, normally in just one of the base game worlds, and then build on top of that. And I have to fill the space. My brain can't just go, oh, just leave some of the area empty, no one's going to see it, it's fine. I have to fill all of it, or as much of it as I can. So all of my builds always end up being massive, especially because I'm awful at gardens. I hate doing gardens. You'll be able to see it later in this video how awful I am at gardens. So the houses always end up being absolutely massive, and I didn't really build with anyone in mind when I started, and then I realised I had to do the bedrooms, so I needed to figure out who's going to live there. So I decided on a family of 4, 2 parents and 2 children. The house doesn't really have many kids decorations in, but unfortunately The Sims 4 just doesn't really cater towards children anyway. It's really like millennials and young adults, lots of stuff for young adults and not a lot for kids, and a lot of the stuff for kids just isn't coherent with anything else. So it became a bit more of like, maybe they're a modern family who just had 2 kids. I don't know, I kind of build without thinking about these things first, which I really should do the opposite way around. But, it is what it is. I really love how this kitchen turned out. Pretty much everything in here is custom content again. And I really enjoy installing custom content for kitchens because the bars in this Sims base game they don't look very good. There's no leg space underneath them. So I've been looking for bars that have leg space underneath them, and to make them kind of cohesive with the kitchen, you kind of need to install the whole kitchen pack, and then you kind of have to use the whole kitchen pack because they just don't flow otherwise. I also wanted to add that if there are any jumps in this video, it's because this video was filmed over 3 sessions, because it took me, I think, 3.5 hours to complete this build, and I really had to take a break at some point before I lost my mind. So I've tried to restart each filming exactly where I left off, but obviously you're going to see me re-entering some cheat codes because I do use bb.moveObjects and bb.showHiddenObjects, mainly because a lot of the CC will be hidden within the hidden objects, which makes it impossible to find half the time, and I'm still pretty new to kind of building in The Sims. I was very much a generational simmer when I started playing The Sims when I was a kid. I would just get the house that looked the nicest, or more likely, the house that I could afford, and that would be my house. And I would just add in, say if I had a kid, there would be a new kid's bed. If I decided I wanted to do art, there would be a new easel. But I never really built houses. And I kind of got into it over lockdown just because, I don't know, it seemed fun. The base game and the expansions that I have, they can get quite repetitive quite quickly, and I know this is a pretty common issue that people have with The Sims 4, is that it just doesn't work all the time, and you kind of have to make your own stories, and it doesn't give you the lore that the other games did. And I'm okay with that for the most part, but I am, to my core, very much an RPG gamer. I love stories in video games, and kind of, I always knew that The Sims wasn't, you know, it's not a story-driven game like other games that I play, but there have always been nuggets of lore. You've got the goths, and you've got the land grabs, and obviously the kind of spin-off games do add more to these things. And The Sims 4 just, it really lacks in that. So I found that the best way to spend my time is by utilising what most people agree is the best aspect of The Sims 4, which is build and buy mode. And obviously the Create Sims, relatively good. We obviously still have the issue with a lack of diversity in skin tones, which I actually have fixed in my game. I have a skin tone mod that adds more darker skin tones and a couple of more undertones for the lighter skin tones. So for me, that's not as much of an issue, but considering how long this game has been out for, it's an issue that I didn't think I would have to solve myself. I remember playing this game when it first came out and then kind of dropping it for a long time because I just didn't have the storage on my old laptop to even try to play it. I could just about run it, but it was never very good. So I kind of stopped playing it, and then that laptop decided to die on me. So I got a new laptop, which is far better at running the game. As you can see, it runs fairly smoothly. I would say most of the issues are mainly due to my video editing software and not the game itself. And most of the pauses, honestly, are due to me being just really, really indecisive as to what I want to do. Taking breaks to go and look on Pinterest because I am not the most creative person in the world. I really struggle with floor plans. I try not to make my houses too boxy, but they always end up being really boxy because I live in England and most houses here are just squares or rectangles. And I don't think that's very interesting to look at. You know, like I live in a flat, so I don't have a lot of space as is, and given that there's lockdown, I don't really go outside to look at houses. So, you know, Pinterest, and I do watch Plumbella. She's the only other Sims YouTuber I've actually watched. So I'm hoping that I'm not stealing any ideas from anyone. And if I am, I'm sorry about that. I genuinely don't watch any others, not because I don't like them or because I have any issue with them. It's just that I like to go into games quite blind. And for me, watching YouTubers play, especially The Sims, which is, you know, it has very, very few stories in it. So I have been trying to kind of play Strangerville. I did play that and it was okay. I think I wasn't expecting that much from it. I know there was some theories about the end of that game and they didn't come to fruition. I won't spoil it in case anyone does want to play it. I mean, I'm talking like many people are going to watch this, but I'm fully aware that I have like 5 subscribers when this is posted. But you know, maybe someone will watch it. I'm also growing increasingly aware that I'm watching the playback of this video as I'm recording this audio and I'm only halfway through. So yeah, I'm really sorry that this video is quite long. I couldn't speed it up anymore without it being ridiculously quick. It was either 32 times speed or 64 because I am literally using the inbuilt editor on my laptop, which is not great. It's crashed many times making this video. I was very close to giving up, but I spent so long filming this house and I was actually quite happy with how it turned out. The garden, I'm not that happy with, but it's a garden, you know, forgive me. At some point I should just do a whole outside garden build just to make myself comfortable with gardens, but I don't feel like hurting myself today, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm thinking for my next one I might do something on stilts, maybe like a treehouse kind of thing. I think that would be quite different to the things I've already done. I feel like I always default to this very grey, pink, black and white modern build just because that seems to be what The Sims caters to the best. And that's okay, but it's difficult to express your style without either having custom content or being able to afford all of the expansion packs, which just isn't feasible for a lot of people. You know, I'm a student and I just don't have that kind of money to throw at EA, who haven't really been listening to the wants of the Sims community. Again, I wouldn't say I'm in the Sims community, but you know, I am aware of things that go on. I do work in the gaming industry. So yeah, it's sad because The Sims is a very well-loved franchise. It's something that a lot of people grew up with, and the fact that The Sims 4 has been an introduction for a lot of people is quite sad, because I think, personally, The Sims 3 is the best Sims game because it just had so much more living to do. I never felt like I had hundreds of hours in this game and I never once built a house. I never felt like I had to. I know the Sims 3 houses weren't great, but they were always enough that I felt like I didn't have to do anything with them, because I was enjoying playing the game so much that I was never in my house that often. It was a place for living and not a place for doing everything, where The Sims 4 kind of feels like everything you do it at home unless you're going to work, but you generally don't follow your Sims to work unless you have to get to work, and even then, the active careers, they're fun for a little bit, but they can get really tedious and really tiring, and they just don't feel like they're worth the extra time and money. So yeah, I'm hoping that The Sims 5 will come through. I'm hoping that EA's new update with skin tones will come through, even if it is several years too late. I'm hoping that the build and buy mode stays as good in The Sims 5. You know, I'm hoping that custom content creators come out with some really good stuff, because honestly, everything they make is amazing, and I wouldn't be able to make half the builds I do now without them. And I realise that some people will probably criticise that, like, you should be able to make a good build with just what's in the game. And I completely understand that, and I completely agree. I do really want to do a base game only build, because I know that The Sims has recently gone on sale and a lot of people have just bought The Sims 4 and probably don't own any of the expansion packs, so I would love to do a base game only build. I have started that. Quickly grew very frustrated because all of my favourite things are custom content or content from packs. So that's a thing for another day, hopefully. If anyone is interested in that, I mean, I don't know how many people watch this, but you know, if you are interested and you do stumble across this video, please let me know. And also, if you have any ideas for kind of how I can build better. I know that my landscaping is just not good. I'm working on that. I've never been good at landscaping. I'm an indoor houseplant person, not really an outside person. Like I said, I live in a flat, so we don't really have a garden. But yeah, I really liked how this house turned out. I think it's very English, modern. It has like the cramped hallways, but it also has really open plan kitchen, diner, living room. I would have had bigger archways, but I didn't want to increase the ceiling height because I absolutely hate messing with ceiling heights once I've already started placing things, so I just left it. And I think the good thing about custom content is all the little details it adds. Just like the table covers and decorations for shelves and new lights that have plants on them and all the house plants that they add. I just can't get enough of custom content. And I really hope the Sims team look to custom content creators and think, hey, you know what, you're really talented and we see that people are downloading your stuff. Can we bring you on? Can you do a collab with us? Anything like that would just be so good for The Sims 5. Hi, so this was meant to be an intro, not an outro, and it was meant to be filmed on a camera, not a phone. I did actually record it all, but my camera decided not to connect to my laptop, so I couldn't import the video because it wasn't a recognised file, and honestly, compressing 3 hours of build footage on my laptop, which is already not the best, took so long that I was not willing to fight another fight with technology today. So I'm just doing this on my phone. I hope it's not too bad. I just wanted to say thank you for watching, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed it, please let me know. You know, comment if you have any suggestions, particularly because this is more to do with me being a bit more confident and just doing it through a medium where I feel most comfortable, which is gaming. And at the moment that's The Sims, but I do play other games, so I'd be happy to share those as well. And yeah, if you found this, I don't know how, because I have, I think, 5 subscribers and they are all my friends. Thank you. Thank you so much for supporting me. But yeah, see, I'm nervous. This is why I'm meant to be doing this and I don't think it's helping. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll have another video soon and I hope that you come back and watch it. Thank you, bye.